Dear brothers, we get the word Paranishpana, which is a Buddhistic term used by the Tibetans and other Buddhists. Paranishpana means a stage at which all existence reaches perfection. Reaches perfection. Paranishpana means a stage at which all existence reaches perfection. Having taken birth, existed for lives, perfecting in each life a portion of what needs to be perfected. Each time the existing beings, reach the stage of Paranishpana. Having taken birth, existed for lives, perfecting in each life a portion of what needs to be perfected. Each time the existing beings, reach the stage of Paranishpana. After series of intense activity or activities, the beings have reached a stage of perfection. And at the close of the activities, they get absorbed into the universal soul, or what we call Almighty. That period ending, after which this absorption takes place, is called the ending up of the period and is called Maha Manvantara. It is called Maha Manvantara. Everything rests till the succeeding period starts. In the Tibetan language, it is called, says HBB, it is called as Yong Groob. The teachings about even Paranirvana are not taught, and they are held as esoteric truths. The teachings about Paranirvana, even these teachings, are not taught, and they are held as esoteric truths. Yes, before the advent of Yogacara, the school of the Mahayana school of Buddhism, this Paranirvana was taught in ashrams and monasteries. Each one is interpreting these days and arriving at their own connotations and definitions of the word Parinirvana. Only evolved can understand the true significance. As said earlier, it's a state one would comprehend or understand, and that state, and to acquire that knowledge and state, it has to be through deep contemplation. It's a state of 3-in-1. It's a very interesting description. It is a state of 3-in-1, a state of non-ego, complete absence of ego, complete voidness, which is called sunyata. Nothing being there, the third state that completes, and that becomes the darkness. So it is egolessness, voidness, and complete darkness. That's how we have to understand. A state of non-ego, complete absence of ego, complete voidness, or sunyata are the three states of being there. The third state of sunyata or voidness is a state of darkness. So it is egolessness, voidness, and complete darkness. Non-ego, absence of ego, complete absence of ego, complete voidness. So egolessness and voidness and complete darkness. This state is there on its own and in a perfect state. This state is on its own and in a state of perfection. perfect state. HPP says it's a state of absoluteness. HPP says it's a state of absoluteness. Yet there is room for more absolute and further perfection. She says it's a state of absoluteness, yet there is room for more absolute and further perfection. It is actually a higher standard of excellence and perfection which is expected. This is what is in store in the coming next succeeding period. HPP gives an example, says, a perfect flower will grow into a perfect fruit. HPP gives an example. She says, a perfect flower will grow into a perfect fruit. This is what it means to reach a higher perfection in the next stage or in the next period of activity. So, according to the philosophy of the secret doctrine, there is continuous progressive development for everything, and this progress is there for every atom. Every atom. We cannot imagine the beginning or the end. We cannot imagine the beginning or the end. It is Ananta. Next, there are ever so many universes, and our universe is one among these universes. All the things have to be born, grow, evolve, and get absorbed. The successor is always better than the previous one which existed. Universes appear and disappear. It is called the outbreaking, which is called appearing, and inbreathing, which is called disappearance or disappearing. And this is all related to that great breath. This great breath is eternal and is in constant motion. Constant motion. The breathing of thought, the breathing of thought by the unknown deity that forms cosmos. The breathing, the great breath, the breathing of thought, ideation by the unknown deity, that is the one which forms cosmos, KOSMOS, meaning groups or so many universes. Cosmos is all the universes put together. This we have seen number of times. KOSMOS is all the universes put together. When the divine breath is taken in, the universes all disappear and everything rests wrapped in her great mother's invisible robes. Now you understand what that invisible robes means. So, the breathing of thought or the ideation by the unknown deity that forms cosmos, KOSMOS. Cosmos is all the universes put together, the one which starts with K. When the divine breath is taken in, the universes all disappear and everything rests wrapped in her great mother's invisible robes. We cannot talk about or understand all about what it means or what it is about that great breath or the great being. That which is yet, which is not, is the great being. This looks a bit paradoxical, but that's how it is. That which is yet, which is not, is the great being. Paradoxically, it is explained. We cannot imagine its form or no form. We cannot imagine its form or no form. Talking about time, past, present, and future, the concepts are true in a phenomenal world, in an objective world. But actually, by itself, time on its own is one compound thing. Present becomes past, present extends to future, so the time is one vast expanse. And it has no divisions, really speaking. Time is one vast expanse. Man has devised past, present, and future dependent on sensations and laws of association. Man has devised past, present, and future dependent on the sensations and laws of association. LAWS, laws of association. Associating a phenomena with time in its three aspects of past, present, and future. So he has started associating a phenomena with time in its three aspects of past, present, and future. Time is actually a state of consciousness. Right? Now we go to the seventh portion of the sloka, which says, the causes of existence. This is the text of the sloka. The causes of existence had been done away with. A, the visible that was and the invisible that is, rested in eternal non-being or the one being. It has got a second portion. So we'll now first deal with portion number A, which is the visible that was and the invisible that is, rested in eternal non-being, the one being. So the causes of existence, the cause that is visible and the one which is invisible, both are part of the eternal non-being, or if you may put it as eternal one being. This is what that sloka says. Is there that one being which can be seen? Is there that one being which can be seen? Can we see? These causes of existence, visible or part of nidana, this is another term from the Buddhistic terminology. These causes of existence, visible or part of nidana, chain of causation, and causes which are invisible are part of maya, illusion. These causes of existence, visible or part of nidana, chain of causation, and causes which are invisible are part of maya, illusion. The desire of the senses of all life seems to be behind all the objective existence. The desire of the senses of all life seems to be behind all the objective existence. The real cause of existence remains always abstract and hidden. The real cause of existence remains always abstract and hidden. The abstractions become more physical as abstract causes touch the material universe. The abstractions become more physical as abstract causes touch the material universe. It is like steam becoming water and water becoming into ice. Steam is abstract, water is physical. This is the example she has given. So we have covered the first sentence, first part of the seventh sloka. Now we move to the second one, the B portion. 2. The idea of eternal non-being, which is the one being, will appear a paradox to anyone who does not remember that we limit our ideas of being to our present consciousness of existence. Making it a specific instead of a generic term. Making it specific instead of a generic term. So, the eternal being, the one being and non-being, is appearing to be paradoxical to a common man. He is not able to exactly understand what it means. It's paradox for him. We see with the help of our limited consciousness, says Madame Blavatsky. We see with the help of our limited consciousness. If consciousness recognizes, we say it is a being or it is being. And beyond our consciousness, though the eternal being always exists, it is a non-being. So that's why it is paradox. We can recognize, you can remain without recognizing. So if consciousness recognizes, we say it is being. We say it is a being. When the eternal being we are not able to cognize, it is called non-being, as our limited consciousness is unable to comprehend it. Eternal being is beyond our comprehension, as we have seen number of times. Eternal being is beyond our comprehension, as we have seen number of times. This is what we have studied in the past too. We have understood this concept from the first fundamental proposition which she has given. Particles of gold, when they are lying scattered, we don't get to see the gold, right? Particles of gold, when they are lying scattered, we don't get to see that gold. But on close examination, with the aid of scientific instruments, we are able to decipher gold. So, a trained person, initiate, can look beyond the veil of Maya. A trained person, initiate, can look beyond the veil of Maya. The process is to adapt the teachings of the esoteric philosophy, and there lies the secret. Nidana has a stage where the subject is in a rapturous condition, absolute bliss. Then he reaches a stage of tranquility. In that stage of rapturous condition, absolute bliss, then he reaches to a stage of tranquility, then enters the stage of bliss. Last, he attains the stage of samadhi. I'll read this again. Nidana has a stage where the subject is in rapturous condition. He is extremely thrilled. Then he reaches the stage of tranquility, peace. Then enters the stage of absolute bliss. Last, he attains the stage of samadhi. In this state of samadhi, he gets the glimpses of that eternal non-being or being, or as we call the one being. These are to be explored by each individual. One has to dive deep within oneself and arrive at the truth. These are to be explored by each individual. One has to dive deep within oneself and arrive at the truth. So, the stages are there where he is in rapturous condition. Then he reaches the stage of tranquility, absolute peace. Then comes the stage of bliss. Then last comes the stage of samadhi. In that state, he gets the glimpses of the eternal non-being, or as we call the being, or sometimes we call the one being. These are all to be explored by each individual. One has to dive deep into one's consciousness within oneself and arrive at the truth. Right. Now we move to the eighth portion of the sloka, eighth sloka. Alone, the one form of existence, stretched, boundless, infinite, causeless, in dreamless sleep, is the first portion of the eighth sloka. Alone, the one form of existence, A, stretched, boundless, infinite, causeless in dreamless sleep. B. And life pulsated unconscious in universal space. And life pulsated unconscious in universal space. Throughout that all presence which is sensed by the opened eye of the Dangma. This is another term which he has used, which he has explained, of course, below. Alone, the one form of existence, A. Stretched, boundless, infinite, causeless in dreamless sleep. Dreamless sleep. The second portion, the B portion, and the life pulsated unconscious in universal space. Throughout that all presence, which is sensed by the opened eye, which is sensed by the opened eye, talking about the eye which is within, opened eye of the Dhamma. That opened eye, which is, as some people call, the third eye. Okay, we move to the commentary. The Dhamma is also called the eye of Shiva. The eye of Shiva. All humans had this, but then it has become a gland now. The heterogeneity developed from homogeneity. The heterogeneity developed from homogeneity. From one, all the rest developed. This is an archaic, very ancient idea. Different things, that is, heterogeneity developed from homogeneity. Scientists are busy looking out for the one root substance from which everything developed. Scientists are busy looking out for the one root substance from which everything developed. Scientists are looking for the source, or that one force which is the root cause of heat, electricity, magnetism, etc., and many more differentiations. The one power got differentiated into heat, electricity, magnetism, etc., and the scientists are looking for the source of that one force, which is the root cause of heat, electricity, magnetism, etc., and many more such differentiations. One form of existence as the basis and source of all things. This is a quote from The Secret Doctrine, not the book, but what she has accessed through her vision. The source of all things. There is a beautiful Sanskrit word which describes this, says Madame Blavatsky. There is a beautiful Sanskrit word which describes this, says Madame Blavatsky. English words are not conveying the exact meaning. So she is depending on Sanskrit to give the exact meaning and import, and she says the English words are not conveying the exact meaning. The Sanskrit word is Prabhavapyaya. Prabhavapyaya means a place or plane from where everything emerged. Prabhavapyaya. She used this Sanskrit word. It means a place or plane from where everything emerged and everything returned after completing the existence on that plane. It is not the mother or womb of the world. It is not the mother or the womb of the world, as quoted by Western philosophers. Puranas call it as Karana. Puranas, according to the Sanatana Dharma, Puranas call it as Karana, cause. It is Swabhavat, as per Buddhistic philosophy. The same thing is called Swabhavat by the Buddhist or Buddhistic philosophy. The eternal cause and effect, it is omnipresent, that means present everywhere, but it is abstract not visible. The eternal cause and effect, it is omnipresent, present everywhere, but it is abstract. We are not able to see it. It's not visible, yet it is the root of all things. So this is what we have to understand. Vedanta calls it as Parabrahman and Moola Prakriti, and it is in dual aspects. It is in dual aspects, Prakriti and Purusha. So she relies on the Vedantic terms. Vedanta calls it Parabrahman and Moola Prakriti, and it is in dual aspects. Two. What are those two? Prakriti and Purusha. Uttara Mimamsa and Upanishads talk about these aspects of Parabrahman and Prakriti. We have in our Shastras Uttara Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa. She is talking about Uttara Mimamsa. Uttara Mimamsa and Upanishads talk about these aspects of Parabrahman and Prakriti. Sri Shankaracharya, says Madam Blavatsky, based his teachings on this concept of one Parabrahman. Right? Then we move to the second portion, the B portion of it, which is, and life pulsated unconscious in universal space, throughout that all presence which is sensed by the opened eye of the Dhamma, that is the eye of the Shiva. We are going to that. There is a concept of dreamless sleep, Sushupti as we call it, which is known as a term to man. There is a concept of dreamless sleep, Sushupti, which is known to man. A different state of mind operates at this stage, says Madam Blavatsky. In Sushupti, a different state of mind operates in Sushupti. Vedantins say that a person is conscious in a different state of being. His being is in a different state, but still he is very conscious. That is what the Vedantins say about that person being in Sushupti. The same dreamless state, if we have understood, if it has been applied to the universe, the same dreamless state, if we have understood, if it has been applied to the universe, then the universe, it is said, is in that state of consciousness which is blank, yet having potential to produce everything. So there is a concept of dreamless sleep, Sushupti, in man. Man knows this term. We all know this term. A different state of mind operates at this stage, says Madam Blavatsky. Vedantins say that a person is conscious in a different state of being when he is in Sushupti. The same dreamless state as it is there in man, if we have understood, if it has been applied to the universe, so we apply the same state or same concept to the universe, then the universe, it is said, is in that state of consciousness which is blank, yet having potential to produce everything. The person is able to talk and act as a conscious person. The person is able to talk and act as a conscious person after he is free of that Sushupti, after his deep, dreamless sleep is over. The person, he is able to talk and act as a conscious person after his deep, dreamless sleep, which is called Sushupti, is over. Similar is the state of the universe. Similar is the state of the universe, says Madam Blavatsky. Right. We'll consider the 8th sloka in the next portion, which I will record maybe a bit later.